you so much for watching. In today's video, this is going to be my first video of my new series, my new bridal series. I got engaged last month and I'm so excited to take you guys along for this journey and to just kind of make videos on every little step and give you guys all my tips and advice. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all about venues and how I picked my venue and all the advice and tips that I could give you guys, because I was watching so many of these videos at the time. It's such a relief that it's like all set and done, and I had no idea where to even start with a venue. I've thought about my wedding my whole life, like all these little details that I would want, but when it came to a venue, I had no idea. Like there wasn't a certain place that I was like, oh, I kind of want to check out that place. Like I didn't know where to start. So there's two things I would focus on first, and that is how many guests that you're gonna have, because a lot of places will ask you how many people you plan on inviting, and so many places have a minimum, and for us we have about 100 to 125, so it's a smaller wedding. And so many places that I called, and let me tell you guys, I listed like 25 places in a notebook and I was crossing off so many because of the minimum. A lot of places were like, oh, it's a minimum of 160, 175, 200 even some. So definitely try to get like an estimate on how many people that you plan on inviting, because it's like the first question they ask you. And okay, the second thing I would focus on next is what means more to you, a certain season and a date or a specific venue. For me, like I said before, there was no venue that I was like, oh my God, I need to get married here. I know for some people that's the case, where they love one place and they're willing to get married like in an off wedding season like January or December, just to be able to get married at a certain place. For me, it meant more to me to get married in September. I've been set on September. I knew that was the month that I really wanted, so I wasn't going to change that. So if a place didn't have my dates, which a lot of places didn't, if you plan on getting married within like a year to a year and a half, I would start looking at venues as soon as you can. We started, I think it was like 2 weeks or a week and a half after we got engaged, because so many people were like, oh my God, like you want September of 2021. So I would start looking, because, and of course with everything going on this year, so many weddings are being pushed to 2021. So I knew that it could have been a slim chance that a lot of places didn't have September. Say you want to get married in September too, and you go to a venue, they don't have September dates available, and you love the place. Like, are you willing to get married in a different season or a different month just to get that venue? So I would focus on if the date means more to you or a specific venue means more to you, and that's going to obviously depend on you. But for me, it was definitely like the date. If they didn't have it, we were like, we're not even gonna look. So I would also think about that. I would also think about kind of like a theme that you want. And for my theme, I kind of wanted something like old Hollywood vibe with like glamorous ballroom, traditional. Like that was kind of like what I always pictured. I want everything white and gold. Like those were the colors that I always wanted. So the one place that we did look at, it was a yacht club, and it was on the water, which it was beautiful. Like the place was absolutely stunning. The views were amazing, but their chairs were navy blue, and they're like, you can't change them. Like they're gonna stay navy blue. And in my head, I'm like, it's just not what I want. So that's something that I would definitely question if you're at a venue. Like say they have like a red carpet or red curtains, or if they have yellow seats, like if it doesn't go with the vibe and it doesn't go with your colors and it's gonna clash, I would just think about that, because that kind of did it for me. Like I was like, even though it's such a small thing like chairs, it just doesn't go with what my vision was. So that was kind of like a turn off for me. It was also a very beachy place, and even though it was beautiful, it just like wasn't the type of theme that I would want. Like I want something super traditional, kind of Victorian looking, and this was more like a beachy kind of like wedding on the water kind of vibe. So definitely think about what kind of theme you want, and that will narrow it down to what kind of venue would kind of suit you best. The other place that we did look at was absolutely beautiful from the second we drove up. It was just like everything I liked. And the packages, when it came to like actually looking at the different packages, this place, I loved everything about it. There was not one thing that I didn't like. It was a hotel, which I really liked because the guests could just go upstairs and go to bed. I thought it was nice and easy. Throughout this video, I'm kind of going to compare the two because they were so different, and the one was like everything I kind of didn't want, and then the one that we decided to go with was everything that we really wanted. So with our package, it came with a bridal suite, and that was something that I really wanted. I wanted a certain area that was private to like get ready in with the bridal party, and where we could touch up our makeup or touch up our hair and just kind of like relax for a second before we go down to the reception. The other place that we saw didn't have a private like bridal suite. They only had this like separate room that was open to the reception. Like it had like an open door, so anybody could like see you in there, you know, and I didn't like that. So I would ask, a question that I would ask your venue is if they have a bridal suite, of course, if that means something to you. I know not everybody like cares about that, but for me, I really wanted like a place that I could just like get ready in and just like take a minute and prepare myself for like the reception. So that was something that I really wanted. So I'm gonna get into some questions that I feel like are kind of important when you are looking at venues. You want to ask what rentals come with your site, like if they include centerpieces, if they include like a variety of tablecloths, like different colors, or all of that kind of stuff. I thought it was important to ask if there's multiple events going on at once, because I didn't want there to be another wedding going on during my wedding. So that was something that I knew that I wanted to ask. You want to ask if they include like a tear down setup kind of thing, where if they don't, you might need to get somebody to set up your wedding for you or to tear down your wedding for you. So that's something that I wanted to know about as well. Another question that I had is if an open bar is included in the package. With our package, it was a 5-hour open bar, which I thought was perfect. So the other venue that we looked at, you had to get your own alcohol, and they just had bartenders to serve it, but you were responsible for providing like all the alcohol that you would want for the reception. So I knew I wanted a place that kind of included that in the package. I also wanted to know if the bathroom was near, because obviously if you have elderly people, you don't want them to have to climb up like a ton of stairs to go to the bathroom. I wanted the bathroom to be like pretty close to the reception, so that was a question that I also asked. I also know I wanted like candles in my centerpieces, so I just asked them like about candles, if they have any restrictions with candles and all that. So that's something I would ask, like if you want a specific like decoration, I would ask if like you're allowed to have that. And yeah, that was like all the main questions that I asked. It could be very overwhelming trying to find a venue. I know I was very overwhelmed by it, but because there was just so much that goes into it. What I really liked about our venue is a lot of things were included in our package, and it just makes it so much easier. I would also ask about parking. Valet parking was included in our package as well, which I thought was amazing. The other venue that we looked at, it was like an extra fee of like $500 to like include valet parking. So the other venue just didn't include as much at all, and it was actually more expensive, like a head for the other place. So there's just so many little things that you want to think about. Like, you want to make sure it's easy for the guests to get there and to park. Before I end this video though, I do want to talk about 2 books that were super helpful. This one my best friend gave me. It is the Not Ultimate Wedding Planner and Organizer book. This is really cool because it has literally like everything that you could need, and you could write your own notes. There's like so many different sections and topics in this book, and it gives you like an area to kind of write down different places or different things and compare the two if like you're in between 2 different things. So this book, it was really, really helpful, and as we were picking our venue, I like wrote down different topics, different things that I loved about one venue, didn't like about the other, and I think it's really cool to kind of look back on this, to have like the whole planning process and everything in this book. So this book's really helpful. I loved it. This was gifted to me from my fiance's aunt, and this is the wedding book, A Big Book for Your Big Day. It's by Mindy Weiss and Elizabeth Levine, and this has so much information about everything. as you guys could see, it's like a pretty massive book. So it has like quizzes and different like advice and stuff, so there's so much good information in here as well. So I definitely wanted to mention these two because they're so much fun to read and look at, and you can get a lot of different tips and advice from them. So I will link both of them below. So I feel like I covered everything that I wanted to talk about. I know it could be very overwhelming. If you guys have any questions at all, leave them in the comments below. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.